Hello, this is Dexba and welcome to the tutorial a surprisingly high number of you asked for. Today you're gonna follow me in the process of creating the calm tracks we both love, and I will explain the process where we get there. The first question I received many times is, should I use a tuner? How do I choose notes? In my opinion, if you don't have to play other instruments alongside the Lyra, you can simply choose the notes by feeling. But if you have a specific goal, like following your preferred pentatonic scale, or if you want your A to be 432 Hz, go for it and use a tuner. But we will discover soon why it's not always the best idea with an instrument like the Lyra. I like to start with a completely blank canvas, so I switch off the LFO, turn to 0 the delay, and its modulation, no drive, and I make sure I have all the three-way switches like cross modulation, vibrato, and the voices one off, and the mod knobs to 0. Okay, then I usually position the sharp knobs to a higher level for voices on the left and lower on the right, where the voices are already brighter. The two upper voices actually always sound like they have the sharp cranked all the way up, so that's also why I'd like to find a nice pedal with a filter to play with my Lyra. So let's do that. We can turn this all the way down, this like that, a bit higher, and you can go how high you want with the lower voices. After that, I try to tune all the voices to the same pitch so I can start fresh. And they can actually start to cancel each other's when you get right there. Now we start hearing them back when they phase out. Or they just cancel each other's. Okay, with this not so pretty buzzing sound. Let's talk about the voices and why they are special, and also why I do not recommend using a tuner. As you heard, when we start tuning, all the voices have a very pronounced sweet spot caused by their harmonics and how they resonate by themselves, with each other's, and also depending on the sharp level. Using a tuner forces you to follow something that doesn't come naturally to the instrument, and the results can disappoint you. Now let's tune for real. I usually put the voices in fast, like I didn't do before, for the first part, so I can check them individually, and I turn counterclockwise the whole knob, which will shorten the envelope, even though the Lyra has no official envelope. I also strongly suggest you turn on a bit of reverb now. Not too much, or you will get confused about the tuning, but tuning can get some time and it can get boring and fatiguing also. So let's try that with some reverb. Not all the way up. Resist the temptation of going full wet, because it's already beautiful. So keep it down while you tune. Okay, seems okay to me. I usually keep the global pitch knob between noon and 2 o'clock, but I don't use it often because if you start messing with it, it's very hard to get back where you started. And by that I mean, if you go higher a certain amount, you will shift the voices of a different amount, and also if you get back of what you think is the same amount, you won't get back to the same spot where you started, so you will just destroy your precious work that took you half an hour to get everything in tune. When you start choosing the notes you will be using, keep in mind that the oscillators are not equally ranged. They can sort of get at the same pitch, but they won't respond the same way, so as a rule of thumb, keep your low pitch voices on the left and your high pitch voices on the right. That's also where the global pitch knob comes in handy, helping you to find the right spot for your oscillators. What I mean by that is that, yes, they have like almost the same range, but you will notice how lower voices get less precise and less manageable when they pass a certain pitch, and the same goes for the higher voices going down. The notes you choose are completely up to you and the moment you feel you're into. Usually I try to always have at least a seventh relative to what I consider my bass tone, my hero note, or the tonic, as people who studied music would say, so I can make stuff dramatic and intense. But again, no rules here, and have as much fun as you can. Maybe try to have a double note, octave up or down, so you can easily accentuate some of the most interesting moments of your jam. I did that with my hero note. We don't have many ways on the Lyra to do that. We don't have velocity, we don't obviously have aftertouch, we don't have a proper filter, and we also don't have a proper envelope. So we need some sort of workaround to get more interest, more focus on some points of our jams. Now we're ready with our scale and we can start messing around with the other functions. As you know from my previous videos, I try to stay away from wild modulation, but if they're used very carefully, they can lead to some amazing trance-inducing patterns. To do that, let's turn up the mod knob on the voice. Okay, and let's start fiddling with the LFO. First of that, we need to route the LFO to this group of oscillators using the three-way switch and put it on LFO. Okay, now we can turn on the LFO. We have two LFOs, a selector for like a sum, so they interact in a additive way, or subtractive for or. And you can choose to sync them for a more predictable result, or let them go freely for a more mysterious outcome. With the mod knob, you will change the amount of the LFO interacting with the oscillator. When we got to the result we like with the LFO, we can use a little trick to keep it going while we play other stuff on top of it. Obviously you can do that with a coin, but also you can find the right balance with the hold knob and the fast switch, in a position where only the slow voices are triggered and the fast are still free for you to play. Let's try. Okay, let's say we like this result. We will first go to slow, let's say slow, and start turning up the hold knob until what we are hearing now is the second oscillator because they work in groups, but we are not hearing the oscillators with the switch on fast. Okay? So we can let it go. It will go on. And now we can play. Okay? And it's still going. Quite neat. Let's spend some time with the delay now. The first thing you'll notice is how noisy it is. I will demonstrate that right away. Let's go back to something more normal. We turn the mix all the way up, the feedback at noon, and the noise will increase with the time. And it will get dirty, incredibly dirty. Now it's almost just noise. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but in any case, it will eventually cut a lot of volume and clarity. So keep that in mind for your recordings. And that's the volume difference. And that's quite massive. As you can imagine, like any delay, this also shines with short sounds. So maybe try to avoid using it if you plan on only making very low and slow drones. Apart from that, the delay is pretty straightforward. 2 time settings, 1 mod for each, and a self-oscillating feedback after 2 o'clock. It sounds gorgeous, but be careful with the levels, and I will demonstrate that now. Okay. Always careful with the level. This is like a 9th oscillators for the Lyra, and I really love that, but again, be careful because it's not like some delay pedal. They have like a sort of protection for your sound system and your recording unit. This will just go bananas and destroy everything on its path. Now some random tips. The vibrato is amazing used as a momentary pitch wheel. Just flip it on and off while you play. Let's try. Let's add some reverb. And up, and also when you switch it down. And this can lead to some beautiful results. Okay. The hold knob can help you make big swoosh with long attacks, provided all the 4 control voices sound reasonably well together. So let's see if that's the case. Okay, seems quite good. So let's go like until 10 o'clock. And make sure not to crank it all the way up, just in one movement. We'll get this awful, just horny sound. So let's go fast to make it smoother. 10 o'clock, and it will slowly rise. And when it gets there, you will use the hold knob as a volume knob. Very beautiful already. Drive can be used as a sort of compressor in order to play in the level between different voices and sharp levels, but again, be careful because the Lyra output is just a beast. So let's try that. We can hear with the sharp all the way down. They are very different in output. at least in perceived output. Okay, let's turn the delay off so we can hear it better. For example, this is way higher even to this. Okay, and now with the drive like up 50%. Let's balance it with the sharp control. Okay, now they are sort of matching, and this will help you a lot with the recording levels. And that's something quite difficult to obtain with the Lyra. Try to think at the sharp knob as a sort of filter and sweep it to increase the delay presence or even the reverb presence. Okay, what I mean by that is, let's turn the drive off. Okay, can you hear in the reverb or even in the delay? And that helps with the expression with the Lyra, because again, we don't have an envelope, we don't have a real filter, and we don't have aftertouch, that the way you would use it in a jam. So we have our delay, we make it slow, so I can let it go, and I can now give some rhythm with the sharp. Let's go 50%. And maybe do that in conjunction with the vibrato. Some final thoughts. You have seen me using the Lyra with an absurdly expensive reverb, but it is nowhere needed. Yeah, some form of reverb, I think it's mandatory with the Lyra, but it is nowhere needed a reverb like that. I like it because it has a bass control, and I mean, it's quite cool with the motorized faders. But for my most viewed video, I used the free Valhalla reverb, and I admit the ability to tweak the reverb in post was pretty amazing. Also, I got asked this a lot, and all the Lyra colors sound the same, but not all the Lyra models do, because how they're built. So just pick your favorite color and have fun. I choose the pink one because I feel like the Lyra is sort of a art piece more than just an instrument, and I felt like if I had chosen the black or the white one, I would have felt some disappointment in just the raw sound capability. I will leave you now to the complete jam, and for the first time I will be able to say that if you like this video, please leave a thumb up, consider subscribing, and comments are always welcome. And also, if you will jam after this video with the tips I gave you, tag me, I will gladly check out your work. Apart from that, see you next time.